Transport for London's Northern Line extension is a project that is bigger than the sum of its parts.
Much of the transport work we're doing in London is really about economic growth and development. It's more than just building tunnels and stations, it's really about that economic growth that will provide.
And it's a fantastic project to work on. Not very often we build a major extension to an underground line. My team are all fired up and very excited to be working on it and very privileged to be working on it.
It's providing the catalyst to provide 27,000 new jobs and 16,000 new homes across the whole of what is 8 square miles of prime redevelopment area.
The extension requires 2 ventilation shafts at Kennington Loop, 3 kilometres of twin track and 2 new stations. But the team are anticipating the demands of future infrastructure.
Power is a big part of what we need in order to make a functional railway. Other systems such as signalling and comms play a big part as well. We've got 4 new switchgear panels. They enable 2 new connections for the NLE from Kennington Green and Kennington Park. We've also enabled 2 future connections that London Underground can utilise.
This film will show some snapshots of the progress across the NLE sites in 2016. Back in May, Battersea was making a start on the walls of its 2 boxes.
We've just completed the D-wall panelling on the crossover box. The D-wall panelling forms the side walls to the box. We're now breaking down the tops of the D-wall panels to create what's called a capping beam. We've also started the de-walling to the station box at the west end of the site.
September saw swift progress on the station box.
In the station box for the diaphragm walling, we're 35% complete for a target completion in April 2017 of the main structure of the station box. But we're starting the civils works early at the western end of the station box so that we can keep the programme and really drive completion. We've made a lot of progress digging down into the crossover box. The main sort of coordination is primarily the diaphragm wall going first. At that time is obviously supported by the ground, which will be in the middle of the station box. But as soon as you start digging that ground away, you'll have to start either permanently or temporarily propping that structure so that the walls stay rigid and vertical. In the crossover box, the way we're doing this is using temporary props to quicken up the digging process. We're now actually at the base slab at the far end, which is where the tunnel TBMs will eventually be going through the head wall into the main running tunnels.
Come November, all eyes are on the tunnels.
So at the bottom of the crossover box we have started to do the sprayed concrete lining advances which enable us to dig the tunnels to enable the launch of the TBMs. The sprayed concrete lined tunnels, both of which are 77 metres long, are being dug at the rate of about 2 metres a day at this moment in time. We hope to have improvements as time goes on. On site at the moment we have the 2 tunnel boring machines which are being built up with the screws sticking out the back. We also have 8 gantries on site. This is for the first TBM which is to be launched in March.
At 9 Elms, a lot needs to happen on a very tight plot. Early 2016 was all about laying the foundations.
So far to date at 9 Elms, we've completed a number of key milestones since arriving on site. Currently our key activity on site is piling, with 63% of our piles installed to date. We're also undertaking capping beam works with our 5th successful pour completed. And now we're preparing for our next stage of works, which will be the installation of the gantry crane, which will be used to lift precast elements into the box.
The 9 Elms team achieved a key milestone in September, with all the piling completed.
300 male and female C-camp piles interlocked to form the perimeter of the station box, and 50 bearing piles will support the vertical loads of the station and in the future the overstation development, which is due for construction in 2020. We've also installed our 30-ton gantry crane, which is a key piece of equipment to help us with the excavation of the station box. One of our other key areas of works at 9 Elms is the installation of the capping beam. Now we've completed piling, and to date we've completed 45% of the capping beam around the perimeter of the box. We've also been able to successfully pour in situ the ground floor slab at the eastern end of the box, which will form the ground floor of the new station ticket hall. This has allowed us to commence with bulk excavation of the station box.
The NLE mucks in together to handle dug-up soil without costing the earth.
We're ensuring that we reuse as much clean demolition material as possible. So it's been used to create our haul roads and create our piling mat. We're also removing as much of our clean spoil as possible via Battersea.
From the muck bin, it will be transferred onto the conveyor which runs down to the river, where it will be discharged onto barges, which will be getting rid of around 4,000 tonnes a day at peak.
There's a target of removing almost 1 million tonnes of spoil by the end of the NLE project.
This keeps a significant number of lorries off the road.
And that's going to reduce our carbon footprint in the Battersea area by over 2,000 tonnes.
In addition to minimising environmental impact, a key NLE principle is considering those affected by the works. Both Kennington sites are next door to residential properties.
We have designed and constructed 2 large acoustic enclosures, which will mean that we can carry on with the tunnelling works and supplying the shaft while reducing noise and visual appearance to the local residents.
All the people have seen on the surface is just the shift changeover, which is very discreet, miners coming in and out of the shed, and we've been able to carry on under here 24/7.
Working day and night, the shafts at Kennington took shape. At Kennington Park, much progress has been made by November.
The progress has actually been amazing on this part of the project. The ground conditions were better than we expected. Because we didn't have any issues with water, we're now 4 weeks ahead of where we thought we'd be. Sprayed concrete lining is quite difficult to predict how far you advance. We advance in 1 metre sections, and rates can be anything between kind of 1 to 2 metres a day. However, we've been getting up to 4 metres a day advance on this project. We've done 80 metres of sprayed concrete lining tunnel, and then we've done another 18 metres of pilot tunnel. This is where we've tunnelled directly alongside Kennington Loop. So if you imagine Kennington Loop is already a tunnel, we've come up alongside it with another tunnel.
And we will literally be hand mining around the existing northern line while the trains are in operation. And we will excavate the whole of the tunnels while the trains are still running.
We're then going to take down this smaller tunnel, Kennington Loop, and it's just going to reveal the larger Northern Line extension tunnel around it, and that's going to be the final product.
The impact of the Northern Line extension will be significant, beyond trains and tunnels.
Through our supply chain, through our contractor and their supply chain, there'll be thousands of new jobs. We're creating 50 new apprenticeships within TfL to cover this.
To obviously mine around an existing railway, it's quite a unique thing. It's quite important that we retain that knowledge in our business, because if we want to do future extensions, it's very likely we'll use that technique.
But it's wider than that. It's the whole country is actually having a positive benefit because of the supply chains, equipment and parts coming from all around the UK to supply the building of this new extension. This is a big investment for the Underground, but importantly it's a big investment for London.
It's really exciting to think that you're contributing to London by building a brand new underground station and how it'll improve the connectivity of the area.
Every single day you come in, there is something new to see. Progress is fantastic.
It is going to feel like a new community, totally. It's going to be vibrant, it's going to have fantastic architecture, massive new opportunities in terms of leisure, hotels, commercial opportunity and apartments. It is going to be a very vibrant area in the future.